Hey, darlings. Valentina Olegovna got up and looked sadly out the window. The elderly woman mentally said goodbye to her home. How she did not want to part with the acquired property. She has lived here almost all her life. True, she was left alone. Even her only dog left her recently. Devoted Rex ended his journey in the arms of his beloved lover. He often helped her by barking at night at teenage hooligans who approached the gate. Rex scared away anyone who decided to break into his lover's house. That's how they lived. The faithful dog and her, Valentina. Before the animal appeared, she had a family, her husband Stepan and a daughter. The woman lost them in a terrible accident. At that time, Valentina Olegovna had to stay in hospital for a long time and receive treatment. So she was on sick leave. I worked a little. She retired. I didn't make any friends. My niece also said that it would be better for her to go to a nursing home now. Of course Valentina will go there, because she has almost no strength left. You wouldn't want someone to live to the age she was, and then be left with nothing. Aunt Val, are you going there or not? Zina, her niece, asked her. Yes, I'm on my way, said Grandma sadly inside. She took her simple belongings in her hands. She has few things with her. And how many of them are needed when there are only a few days left here? They drove silently to the station. Zina was not naturally talkative. And what to talk about? Everything is so clear. Soon Valentina's house will go to her niece, and she will gradually live her difficult life. In the past, Valentina worked as an ordinary foreman at a factory. I was very tired. The years took their toll, and the woman fell ill due to her hard work. Yes, the doctors prescribed him pills. You will save the health that has already been lost with these pills? We're here, said the niece, slowing the car. The old woman looked out the window. They arrived at the station. Now Zina will buy her a ticket to the place where the rest home was, and Valentina Olegovna will go there forever. There will be no going back for her. I'll be right there, the woman replied, picking up the canvas bag. She trailed behind Zina. She walked silently. Sometimes she adjusted her green blouse and looked at her cell phone screen. Apparently she was waiting for a call from someone. Hello, Zina replied to someone. Yes, we've already arrived at the station. Will you meet her then? Fine. I'm going to buy a ticket now and send it. Wait at the stop. Don't go anywhere. Then Zina hung up and went to the cash register. Valentina Olegovna slowly walked behind her and looked around. Here's your ticket, said the niece, handing her aunt a piece of paper with a stamp on it. You will arrive at the station. Violetta, my friend, will meet you there. The old lady nodded. What could she say in response? She sat on the bench in the waiting room. The train will arrive any minute. Soon Zina left. Valentina looked at the people around her. Apparently one of the young men with a boy was also waiting for the train. The man was sitting in front of Valentina. Dad, I'm hungry, asked the son. Very, very. I don't have food with me. You will be patient, the father murmured in response, shrugging his shoulders. Valentina Olegovna took some pancakes out of her bag. Boy, take it. She handed it to the child. He looked closely at his father and then at his grandmother. Take it, she said. I was cooking this morning. Fluffy and delicious pancakes. Take it, said the father to his son. He approached the old woman and took the food. I suppose you didn't eat anything? Valentina Olegovna asked the baby. He shook his head. We barely escaped ourselves, the young man said to the woman. My mother-in-law kicked me out. Valentina walked away. Like this? She was indignant. And then, he sighed. Did you also push the baby away? What kind of people? Yes, I didn't hesitate to expel the child. Like it's my fault that my wife decided to have affairs behind my back, the guy complained. Valentina's eyes widened even more. Oh, she covered her mouth with her hand. Did you really get such a professional network? I didn't know I would get into so much trouble, the man continued. His son had been eating pancakes for a long time and looking out the window at the passing trains. The fact is that I worked for 6 months. I came and brought money to my wife. She took them and declared that she wanted to live with Talik. Supposedly he's better than me. And your son? Valentina shook hands. She didn't care about her son. While I was away, my wife often left him with her mother. She also didn't really observe the child. In general, they are both a bit unlucky. Valentina Olegovna shook her head angrily. She had never seen anything like this in her life. Where are you going? She asked the guy. I don't even know. He lowered his head. I used to have a separate apartment. I sold it and invested more money. We used these funds to purchase a larger home. I thought everything would work out for us. Wait, did you register an apartment for her? Grandma asked. Yes, he replied sadly. I loved him very much. I believed her. Like this? Why does the child need this? Is he registered there? I don't want my son looking at her different uncles. This is too much, said the man. Malak, that's a bit unfair. I'm Grandma Valia, and what should you and your son be called? My name is Alexei, and my son's name is Maxim. Valentina thought a little and suggested, I do not have anybody. I'm going to a nursing home. My niece sent me there. I didn't give her all the keys. I hid one as a precious souvenir. Come to my house, huh? Where should you two go now? Alexei and Maxim looked at each other. How niece? The man widened his eyes. We are probably friends because of misfortune. Valentina smiled sadly at him and took the key to the lock from the pocket of her plaid dress. Come with me. With these words, the woman stood up and offered the child her hand. He carefully extended his palm towards her. Together, we will definitely face our misfortune, she said. Then she took a train ticket out of her bag and threw it in the trash. The young man and his son only now stopped being sad. They walked several blocks. Here we are home, Valentina said happily, stopping at the brown wooden gate. It's a good thing I kept my key to myself. Your phone is ringing. The boy scolded his grandmother. She reached into her bag and pressed the red button. We don't need anyone, she said, clearing her throat. We can take care of this ourselves. Go to. And the sky is already frowning. Will rain. As soon as they entered the house, water gushed from above. The rain was very heavy. Valentina put the kettle on. There was even some soup left over from yesterday. She opened the fridge and placed a pot in front of the guests. A few minutes later, everyone was devouring Grandma's food. She generously served refills to the guests. Thanks. The boy thanked him. I don't know what we would do without you, Alexei said with a smile. I don't know what I would do without you, exclaimed Valentina Olegovna. She was distracted by a phone call. Zina wants to listen to me, said the woman. Not even. I will block Zina. Why do I need this? Valentina turned off her cell phone. Well, why are we sitting? Choose your room and feel at home, Valentina said happily to the father and son. Now you are not my guests. Now you are my close people. Are you serious? The man was surprised. It's kind of uncomfortable. What did I do to deserve this? I didn't deserve it, but God saw your and your son's difficulties. I have 4 rooms. Any you want, get it. Maxim ran first to see where he would feel comfortable. He lay down on one of the beds and fell asleep immediately. Valentina Olegovna and Alexei looked at each other. Our poor fellow is exhausted with hunger, said the woman. That's right, said Alexei. Then he added, I promise, we will behave. I have no doubt about that. Valentina replied satisfied and handed the guests some sets of bed linen. Do you know how to do this yourself? Certainly. I learned it while I was on duty, he said, and went to get ready for bed. Valentina Olegovna sighed with relief. Did God really allow her to stay in his home? No one will banish her from that nursing home, and will she feel happy around these people? She also lay down on her favorite bed and dozed off. The forest ahead looked scary. Dirty mud fell underfoot, and heavy rain fell from above, from which an umbrella did not help. Valentina had been wet for a long time. It was extremely difficult to walk. She simply had no other choice. A couple was behind, Zina and her husband. It was also impossible to turn around. Impenetrable thickets grew around. The niece shouted something and asked to stop, but Valentina just walked forward. "Very honored," she murmured. In one hand, the woman held a folder with papers, house, documents. Soon she disappeared into the forest and gasped. A huge bear was in front of her. She woke up in a cold sweat. "Wow, I'm going to dream about something like that," murmured the old woman, getting up from the bed. I saw the phone on the table and decided to turn it on. After unlocking the screen, many missed calls and messages from Zina were displayed. One of his messages read, "Did we lose you? Ira met you at the bus stop. Where did you go? You didn't show up at the nursing home. You will have to report it to the police if you have not returned to your home." Valentina Olegovna sat on the bed and thought. After all, she has a good home, these dear father and son, and she herself is not crazy yet. "No, I won't give up," the woman said to herself. "I will still live." With these thoughts, the old woman went back to sleep. Still, it would be a difficult day. Most likely, Zina will come to her, and this confrontation will begin. In the morning, someone's footsteps woke her up. The sound intensified and then subsided. It was unusual to wake up to so much noise. Valentina got out of bed and left the room. "Who woke up here?" she exclaimed with a smile at little Maxim. "He ran through all the rooms and played something. Did you get enough sleep? Did we bother you?" Alexei asked, appearing nearby. "It's okay," she replied. "Now it's time to prepare breakfast. We need to feed our future generation. Come on, I'll help you." The young man offered his help. Half an hour later, the newly formed family was sitting at the table discussing plans for the day. "We need to look for a job," said Alexei. "We will not live off your pension. As long as I have money. I hid it before the trip. So it's best for your child to look for a daycare center. There he will have more fun, and the child needs development." The calm conversation was interrupted by someone knocking on the door. Valentina Olegovna shuddered. "It's Zina who's back." She sighed heavily and went to open it. In fact, it was Zina who was on the threshold. "What does that mean?" she asked in an irritated voice. "They were waiting for you, and you came back? And I don't need to go anywhere." Valentina Olegovna tried not to be nervous. "Then," commanded the niece, "get ready now, and prepare documents for the house." "What documents do you need?" The aunt opened her eyes wide. "Do you deserve this house? You're not even my sisters. I'm not going to give you any documents." "And why this? I'm officially your niece. So get ready as quickly as possible," Zina insisted. "My patience will soon run out." Alexei suddenly appeared from the kitchen. "My patience will soon run out too," he said. "Leave this woman alone. Otherwise, I'll have to call the police." Zina backed away. She had connections in law enforcement agencies, but did not know about Alexei's acquaintances. Yes, I'll call Igor. It won't be enough." He barked at the uninvited guest. Maxim ran out of the room and looked at the evil fury. She furrowed her eyebrows in confusion. Zina's chest sank. Igor Dmitrievich, chief of police. There was a rumor about him in the area. Like, he'll put anyone in their place. No, Zina was not ready to contact him. A minute later, there was no trace of the niece on the threshold. "Well, that's all." Alexei was delighted. Valentina Olegovna watched Zina through the window in surprise. She hurriedly got into the car and drove away quickly. "Wow," she said, shaking hands. Then she asked the man, "Isn't the police chief known to you?" He looked away. "No," he said. "He is not a stranger to me. So, I scared your niece. Let him know his place. It's a shame when these relatives are around." She is not related to me, replied the elderly woman. My sister created this crap. I felt sorry for the girl. My parents were alcoholics, so I took her in. My sister was kind. I felt sorry for everyone around me. Alexei narrowed his eyes. After all, they also felt sorry for him and his son, but it was not in the young father's character to behave like that, niece. 2 months passed. 3 people left the registry office, Valentina and her new pupils. Here you go. Now I'm going to stay calm, said the woman. My house is in good hands. And then you look, and we will marry you.
No, Alexei Ismail.
I'm not going to rush into getting married. Still, I had a sad experience. They walked home. Maxim ran ahead of his father and grandmother, catching up with a multicolored butterfly. Suddenly the boy stopped. He pointed his finger somewhere to the side. There's a dog there. Dad, there's a dog there, shouted the baby. All 3 of them ran towards the whimpering little lump. He was lying in the grass on the side of the road. Where does this miracle come from? Alexei said happily, picking up the animal from the ground. Someone threw it away mercilessly. Valentina Olegovna nodded. How cute he is, Maxim exclaimed and caressed the pet. If no one minds, I'll call him Rex, said the old woman. He looks like my old favorite, just as gray. They went home, rejoicing in the unexpected addition of this wonderful tale to their home. Valentina Olegovna was overcome with emotions. Finally, her life is getting better, and she will live her old age alongside good people.